with it, and then when it evaporates at the soil surface, the salts are left behind. Those salts can be leached away again by snow melt and rain, but those leached salts can be brought back to the surface when tillage mixes the lower levels with the cleaner stuff above. So if you're going to control salts, there are some things that you have to do to keep them out of the root zone. And the first one is to use no-till or minimum till. Keep those salts that are down below there and stop the evaporation that's bringing them back up, and tillage unfortunately does both of those things. So some other things it does is it moves the compaction layer lower, which makes it harder to break it up again, and of course that means you get less infiltration. And then it also destroys soil structure and reduces the organic matter. And again, this decreases the water infiltration, and it also decreases the soil's water holding capacity. So then again, you get more evaporation. A couple other things you can do: keep the soil covered, whether it's live plants or plant residue. This is going to prevent more evaporation off the soil surface. And keep growing roots in the soil as much of the year as possible, especially crops or cover crops that are going to be deep-rooted and use lots of water, because the plants bring the water up and get rid of it, but they don't draw the salts along with it. Some other thing is test so you know exactly what your salt levels are, and then plant accordingly. Of course, you need plants that are going to tolerate the salt levels, but also if you're using that water uphill, you're getting rid of it before it gets down into those areas where it's going to be pulling the salts up. And if you've got a high salt area that's already not growing a crop properly, obviously avoid tilling it and forget wasting money on your seeding and your chemicals there. Instead, try rehabilitating those areas by planting salt-tolerant vegetation, again, decreasing evaporation, increasing water use. Alfalfa or salt-tolerant grasses are sometimes a good idea in those areas, but keep in mind, it took a long time to build those salts up. It might take you 5 or 10 years to get it back to a point where it's productive again. And finally, just work on generally improving your soil health. Increasing organic matter doesn't cure salinity, but it does reduce evaporation, improve water infiltration, improve water holding capacity. We found a recommendation from Manitoba Agriculture to apply 20 to 30 tons per acre of solid manure once every 3 to 4 years on those saline areas to try and improve your organic matter. And going back to the cover crops, they have multiple benefits besides using the water and preventing evaporation. They improve infiltration by breaking through the compaction layer, improving soil structure, creating root channels, and again, increasing your water holding capacity. And of course, they provide several other benefits like reducing nitrogen loss and suppressing weeds. So something probably a lot of people in this area have already seen is the cover crop chart from the USDA Agricultural Research Service in Mandan. They've actually updated that earlier this year, so that's something you might want to take another look at. It, of course, gives you information on various crops that you may want to grow either singly or in mixes, what kind of qualities they have. And, of course, some of the things it'll tell you will include your water use, water management, things like salinity tolerance and high water use. And just as a point, the ones that have good salinity tolerance and high water use, they listed were cereal rye, triticale, and safflower. So just a hint right off the bat there. But if you go to that Mandan Agricultural Research Service website, you can do a search there for the cover crop chart and get the latest one.
All right. Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks, Dion. Anything else this morning at all?
Just cross your fingers for me for the weather. Mm-hmm. We really want to get out there as early as possible, and it doesn't look like the snow is moving an inch.
Yeah, it's still there, so more coming. So All right, thanks, Dion. And Kayla, I forgot to hit the record button, so everything you just said, you got to repeat now. Just go.
Okay.
Just
okay.
kidding. Just kidding.
I was thinking that's kind of weird, but okay.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for coming on. And we'll have you on again. What is the first Wednesday of the month, right, Dion?
That's what we usually try to do, yes.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, thanks again. And
Thank
nice
you.
meeting you.
Thank you. Bye.
Welcome to the area, or welcome back, I guess. So, all right. So this morning we're glad to be joined by Kayla Faring, Farm Bill Specialist, along with Dion Schaff, Foster County Soil Conservation District Manager. All right. That concludes another edition of Here's What's Happening this morning on KDAK. It's 8:56. That's our time on your Wednesday, the 4th. And we'll take a look at birthdays coming up right after this on the Cardinal.
Join the Woodward chapter of Ducks Unlimited Friday, April 6th at the Woodworth Fire Hall for a prime rib dinner. Doors open at 5:30. A variety of raffles will be held, as well as a live auction for guns, gear, and exclusive Ducks Unlimited merchandise, including the Ducks Unlimited shotgun, rifle, and pistol of the year. Tickets are available